Hey there, how's it going? Vladimir Donner says, hey, I wanted to jump online and do a quick video. And the title of today's video is how to follow up in network marketing. So today I'm going to be talking about three things: leverage relationship, buying behavior. I'm also going to be talking about the notion of a content curate tools. But before I get into the actual content, let me go ahead and provide some context. I believe that every network marketer, every business owner needs to have a marketing plan, which is why when I work with businesses and when I work with network marketers, I use a three-step marketing framework to help them implement into their business. The three core steps are reach, engage, and track. Now, these three core steps have prerequisites, right? So from a prerequisite standpoint, I'm going to be pulling from one of those prerequisites today in order to go ahead and deliver some content to you today. So the prerequisite that I'm going to be pulling from is publishing media. So now into the actual content, how to follow up in network marketing. So essentially, when I was thinking about this specific content, one of the first things that came to mind is that, at some point I went into business with an individual. Now, this specific individual, had, from a business standpoint, this person had leveraged a lot of relationships in his specific community. So this individual leveraged a lot of relationships in his specific community. At the time, I was doing some search engine optimization stuff. He was like, you know what, man, you do this search engine optimization stuff. I know a lot of businesses that would need this specific service. Why don't we partner up together and see if we can go ahead and try and bring some of those businesses on board? So essentially, I was like, you know what, that sounds good. So for him, his whole thought process was, you know what, hey, I'm going to be able to leverage these relationships. And by me leveraging these relationships, we're going to be able to kind of just get as many people on board as possible. My thought process was, okay, we can leverage relationships, but at the same time, I want to create something that's going to bring people on board very, very, very easily without a lot of resistance. So for me, my whole thought process at the time was, okay, can we create a guide? Can we create a how-to? Can we create something for free to get people in the door so that way we can go ahead and have as many people in the door as possible? The thing that we kind of just settled on was essentially a free listing service. So essentially, these individuals could go ahead and list their services on our website for free. So that's the thing that we kind of just settled on. So after we brought those specific individuals on board, you give somebody something for free. What's going to happen is that the very next thing you're going to say to them is say, hey, you know what, I gave you this free thing. This free thing is awesome and it can help you. However, if you want to go to the next step, if you want to go ahead and get more leads, if you want to go ahead and get more traffic, I offer search engine optimization services. And here's how I can go ahead and help you. So essentially, that's one of the methodologies. The idea here is that, you bring someone on for free. You bring someone on into your world by giving them a sample, by giving them something for free, by helping them for free. And then after that, you say, hey, you know what, I offer this specific service or have this specific product, and here's how this specific product, can help you. The idea is that in that specific instance, some of those specific individuals, from a buying behavior standpoint, some of those specific individuals will say, yes, sign me up, I want the thing. However, a lot of those specific individuals will not go ahead and go to the next step. So because these specific individuals will not go to the next step, so then the idea is, okay, how do you follow up? So when I think about follow-up, I think about follow-up from different perspectives. When I think about huge companies that do follow up, they have a huge sales team, and in those sales individuals, what they do is that after an individual becomes a lead, they reach out to those specific individuals every so often and say, hey, you know what, I know that, a couple of weeks ago, you showed interest in X, Y, and Z. Are you ready to take the next step? So essentially, that's what a lot of the big organizations do. That's what a lot of people do. For us, for me and for us, that wasn't nothing. That wasn't necessarily something that's viable. It's like, you know what, hey man, we can't, be getting on the phone or reaching out to these specific individuals, over and over again, pretty much offering the same thing over and over again. That just didn't seem like something that was viable for us. So because that didn't seem like something that was viable from a follow-up standpoint, we need to go ahead and implement something from a follow-up standpoint. And then one day I was listening to a podcast, and a specific individual, he was talking about the notion of, he was talking about the notion of content creation. He was like, everyone thinks they need to create content. Everyone is wrong. You don't need to create content. You need to curate content. And I'm saying to myself, okay, what does this specific individual mean? And essentially what he was meaning is that he was saying that you need to become the news for your specific industry. The notion he was using is that the news, pretty much what the news does is the news aggregate information and then they provide it to a specific audience, right? So essentially what he was saying is that, hey, my audience is into, my audience wants leads, my audience wants more sales. I can go ahead and aggregate information that's already readily available, and I can go ahead and present that information to them. And the good news is that there's tools out there. So for our specific industry at that specific time, we were able to kind of just get a free tool, and the tool pretty much just went around the web, pretty much collected content for us, and then we're able to kind of just aggregate that content, give credit to the person that originally created the content, and then serve that information to the individuals that were already in our database. So now instead of reaching out to those specific individuals and saying, hey, you know what, are you ready? Are you ready to buy? Buy. We're able to say, hey, you know what, I was able to come up with a list of content in this specific area, and I thought that this might be very useful to you. Go ahead and have a read and go ahead and consume some of this information. This information will help you do X, Y, and Z. And by the way, whenever you're ready, here are the next steps. Here's how we can go ahead and work together. So as you can see, this is completely different from you kind of just reaching out without necessarily providing any value. Sometimes, what happens is that, in the network marketing industry is that, we invite someone, when we invite someone into our world, and then after we invite the individual to our world, from a follow-up standpoint, the next step is, okay, how do you follow up with those specific individuals? Well, the way that you follow up with those specific individuals without calling them all of the time and saying, hey, you ready here, you ready, is to go ahead and compile information that, that they are already interested in, provide that information to them and say, hey, you know what, I was thinking about you, and I thought that this specific content might be useful to you. And the good news is that you can go ahead and compile that information. There's tools out there that's going to compile that information for you. So you lead with compiling the information. So in our specific instance, we're sending that information to them via email. And then after they read and consume that information, we have what we call a call to action. And that call to action was, hey, you know what, when you're ready, here's the next steps. So essentially, all of a sudden, our follow-up game, became very, very legitimate, because we can go ahead and create content over and over and over again. And by creating the content, we can go ahead and continuously make offers and say, hey, are you ready? Hey, are you ready? But we were saying, hey, are you ready? After we delivered the specific content. So you, in network marketing or whatever business you're in, essentially, what you want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and create content, provide it to your specific audience, and then after you do that, you can go ahead and make offers. One of the things that I'm doing later this week is I'm posting a free web class. Now, the web class is specific to network marketing, and we have two goals. Goal number one is that we're going to show you how to generate a lead online, and then goal number two is going to show you how to take that lead and turn that lead into a customer. There's going to be a link somewhere on this page, and the link is going to allow you to register for the free web class. The other thing that I'm doing is that if you're not in network marketing and you're a business owner and you need marketing help, is that I can become your marketing guy. And if we decide that I'm the right fit for your marketing, I'm going to help you to implement this specific roadmap into your business, because you know what? I don't want to guess what's wrong with your business from a marketing standpoint, and you shouldn't guess either, which is why I use a specific roadmap just to make sure that everything is specific and everything is airtight. There's going to be a separate link on this page that's going to allow you to go ahead and request additional information as it relates to the marketing services. And from that point, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and send you some information as to what the next steps are and as to what we can go ahead and do next. Hey, that is my time. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.